The political crisis in France continues. President Emmanuel Macron has accepted the resignation of Prime Minister Sébastien Lecornu. The resignation came less than a month after his appointment, making him the shortest-serving Prime Minister in the history of the Fifth Republic, which began in 1958. Prime Minister Sébastien Lecornu realized his hopeless situation when both allies and political enemies threatened to overthrow the new government. Lecornu stated that this meant he would not be able to do his job. On this Monday morning, I no longer see myself able to fulfill my duties as a Prime Minister, and I cannot allow the government to appear before the National Assembly tomorrow. We must listen to our supporters, but we must always think of all French men and women. Thank you all. Thank you. The composition of the main ministries has not changed significantly from the previous cabinet, as it was to be formed by President Emmanuel Macron's camp, with the support of the right-wing Republicans. The composition of the government was immediately criticized by the left-wing France Unbowed and the right-wing National Rally. I call on President Macron to dissolve the National Assembly, because we have reached the end of the road and there is no solution. There will be no tomorrow. Therefore, the only wise decision in these circumstances, in accordance with the Constitution of the Fifth Republic, is to return to the ballot box. Let the French people show us a new direction. To remedy this situation, we must get to the heart of the problem, which is to question the legitimacy of the President of the Republic in a way that our parliamentary democracy allows. And what institutional options do we have? There is one: the impeachment of the President of the Republic. The residents of the capital did not hide their concern and disapproval of the political class in the deepening political crisis in France. I expected this because President Macron doesn't listen to anyone, and it took him a month to appoint a government that is almost identical to the previous one. So we expected this. Nothing has changed. I think now the parliament will have to be dissolved and we will have to vote again. Perhaps the president will have to step down. At some point, a new majority will have to emerge to form a stable government and solve the problems France is facing today. The previous elections were held in France in the summer of 2024, following Macron's decision to dissolve the parliament. Unfortunately, they did not produce a stable parliament. None of the three main political forces obtained a majority, allowing them to form a government on their own. After these elections, two minority governments were formed, one by the centrist parties, Macron's political camp, and the other by the Republicans. Both governments, the first led by Michel Barnier and the second by Francis Bayrou, were forced to resign due to a vote of no confidence passed by the opposition in parliament. I'm approaching 80. I've never seen anything like this. Everyone is playing for themselves. Everyone wants to have it their way. This is not normal. I'm ashamed to be French. Let us recall that Lecornu was the fifth Prime Minister of France in less than 2 years. Now may be time for the right wing, and this is in line with the trend observed recently. Karol Nawrocki in Poland, Andrzej Babis in the Czech Republic, the victory of the right wing in Austria, and the rise of right-wing Eurosceptic movements in the Netherlands, Germany, Sweden, Hungary, and even in the United Kingdom. Commentators are increasingly daring to predict a future right-wing dominated European Parliament.